Hello to all of you out there. If you are new, welcome to my channel. We're here studying the lessons of A Course in Miracles, and today we're doing lesson number 82. We're in a review period, and for those of you following along on my personal journey, today is day 21 of my 21-day water fast here in Costa Rica at the Tanglewood Wellness Center. Been drinking more water than I've ever drank in my life. So we will be fasting for the whole day today and in the morning tomorrow, and then we begin our refeeding process, which will be another countdown. So for those of us who did 21 days of fasting, we will refeed for 7 days. So I'll be able to fill you in on that as we do the lessons together. So let us jump right into lesson 82. I had a pretty interesting meditation with this one this morning that I can't wait to share with you. All right, so the lessons for review for today. First one is, the light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. My forgiveness is the means by which the light of the world finds expression through me. My forgiveness is the means by which I become aware of the light of the world in me. My forgiveness is the means by which the world is healed, together with myself. Let me then forgive the world, that it may be healed along with me. Suggestions for specific forms for applying this idea are: let peace extend from my mind to yours, Mr. Rockefeller. I share the light of the world with you, Mr. Gates. Through my forgiveness, I can see this as it is. Now, of course, you would add in names of individuals in your life. I just happen to choose Mr. Rockefeller and Mr. Gates as my special recognition for that one. All right, second lesson for review. Let me not forget my function. I would not forget my function because I would remember myself. I cannot fulfill my function if I forget it. And unless I fulfill my function, I will not experience the joy that God intends for me. Suitable specific forms of this idea include: let me not use this to hide my function from me. I would use this as an opportunity to fulfill my function. This may threaten my ego, but cannot change my function in any way. So what I think these statements are saying is basically like, if you encounter something today, that you would say these things. If you encounter something that triggers you, or a thought comes up that reminds you of something that makes you want to go grab a baseball bat or something, just remember that. Okay, so after I read these lessons this morning, I went into meditation, and I'll tell you really quickly. I was on Facebook briefly yesterday, and I saw that David Hoffmeister posted a kind of like a long form article about the world being a cult, and it was so intriguing to me, just that idea, especially being here and being in this like secluded jungle environment where I'm just drinking water and being present to my feelings, to the sensations in my body, reading some interesting books, but also just like chilling and being in harmony with nature, listening and paying attention in a way that I never have before. Also, and having the patience to allow my body to go through this detoxification process that at times is extremely uncomfortable and maddening, essentially. But the body's going through a process, and I'm observing it as much as I can, not be like attached to it. So anyway, so that thought has been kind of like cycling through my mind, that the world is a cult. So when this meditation came on this morning, the individual that came into my mind, of course, was, I guess the original Rockefeller. I forget his first name. Is it Nelson? I don't know. Whatever his name is, okay? It's the man who basically dismantled the natural medicine education in the United States and replaced it with pharmaceutical, like basically the groundwork for the pharmaceutical industry. So natural healing went away. And things like fasting, which used to be a common thing, went away. So I feel like I've been carrying some resentment, some grudges with this man. So he comes up first. Now he's passed over. And in the meditation, what I was seeing when I thought of him was, I saw Jesus standing up, looking at this man who was kind of kneeling down, kind of doing one of those. And Jesus grabs his hand and has him stand up. And then I notice I'm this little girl standing next to Jesus, and Jesus is holding my hand, and he picks me up and hands me over to Rockefeller. And I just hugged him. And there was just something so precious about that moment where this little girl, this little being of love, hugs this old man who at this point, right, he's passed over and he's obviously done all his healing and learning and perhaps is incarnated once again. But it was just this moment of like, it was my innocence that was shining in that moment. And so the healing that I felt with him was really pure and really beautiful. And I felt his embrace, and I knew that we were both touched by the same love, and that I recognized the light in him. I recognized the innocence, the playfulness, the truth about him in that embrace. But it's like I had to be a child to have that experience, you know, because the adult Sherry maybe would have had a little bit of like, I don't want to go hug this guy, or some kind of resistance may have come up. So I thought it was brilliant that I showed up in the meditation as the little girl version of me. Brilliant. And then, so moving on to the next individual, I just kind of went right into Bill Gates. So now with him, he's obviously still incarnated on the planet, as far as we know. And so with him, it was me as my, now self. And we sat down on like a little field of grass together, Indian style, cross-legged. And I saw an interview of him once where he's wearing this like lavender plum colored knit sweater with a white collared shirt. So that's what he was wearing. And he had his glasses on. And he kind of had that, kind of look on his face that he has. And so what I did in the meditation was I asked him to remove his glasses, and I put his glasses off to the side. And then I began like taking my hands over his head, and then I started massaging his face, like all the muscles in his face. And I watched him just begin to relax and relax and relax. And he was allowing me to do this, and we were connecting in that way. And then we sat there looking at each other for a moment, and then our hands were kind of on our knees. And then I asked him for his hand, so we held hands, and we began this Om circle. We were just chanting Om, and then we were silent, and I could see this like brightness kind of emanating from him, and it was like reflecting on my brightness, and we were just sort of, reflecting each other's light to each other at that point. And I felt more settled with that. It's almost like I needed to stay busy with him to like distract my mind from bringing in thoughts of my judgments of him and my assumptions about him and all of that. But it was really, really beautiful to see that take place. And I was the giver of the love, essentially, in that moment. But then as we were oming together, I felt like there was this giving and receiving thing that was happening. So yeah, that's basically what came out of it. And then as far as like moving into the second lesson, there wasn't like a separate meditation for it. I feel like the two of them sort of fused together, and that meditation that I had basically represented them both. So, but what will happen throughout the day, just like it did yesterday, is these lesson titles will flow into my mind throughout the day at different times. I don't have like a timer or a clock. I don't know exactly, but they definitely are present with me throughout the day. So hopefully you have an interesting experience with your meditations and that you recall these lessons throughout the day. They come to you, especially when you need them, but also when you don't. Just as a reminder that you have this spiritual practice in your life and that it is guiding you. It is untraining your mind, and whatever exposure you have to the cult that's out there, hopefully you can approach it with a feeling of forgiveness as opposed to resentment or judgment or imposing doom. I think a lot of friends of mine who are kind of in the more like conspiracy theory world, it's like, yeah, we're awakened to some truth about things going on out there, but then there's also this follow-up feeling of doom or an expectation of something bad to happen. So I hope you're able to let go of that today and know that your function, forgiving, is probably going to prevent those bad things from happening, especially to you, but maybe to everyone. So take that with you today, everyone. Again, thanks for your support on my journey here. And I can't wait to fill you in. So I'll do my video tomorrow morning. So I still will basically be fasting. And then it won't be until Sunday morning's video that I'll get to tell you about what it was like starting the refeed and that whole process. But I will definitely keep you informed on how things unfold here for the next week. And yeah, it's all a learning process, and I'm happy that I can share it with you. I'm so glad that we have this group. And yeah, for those of you who are going to join on Tuesday on our Zoom, I will see you then as well. So thank you so much. I love you. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.